Cool. Awesome. Good evening, everyone. And hey, thank you for jumping on live, or if you're watching the replay, thanks for joining. We have a special guest tonight. This is Willow, everyone. She should be in bed, but she likes Zoom meetings. So, if you are new and watching this for the first time, my name is Nicola. I'm a physiotherapist, and with my friend Kate Walker, who's a registered nutritionist, we are really passionate about women's health. So we like to dive deep and in 30 minutes, dive as deep as we can and provide little snippets of info for yourself regarding women's health and nutrition, and often a physio or training kind of perspective as well. So tonight we're talking about women's health and mental health. And I think the easiest thing to do is just pass it over to Kate and take it away, Kate.
Ah,
Fill us in.
oh yes. Well, I hope you're all snuggled up and this is a nice way just to, sometimes it's all about maybe listening to new information. Maybe it's
Mm,
recapping on information that you have heard before, or maybe last year or a long time ago. And so it's quite nice if you're having those aha moments or yeah, just like, oh, I need to do that again. So yeah, thank you for that lovely intro, Nikki. And these series have been
mhm.
great. Of course, we do value your time a lot, so we don't want to make these go on too long. But I'm going to give you some really sort of core information, and then we do always send out a little booklet post recording of some more in-depth material as well. So tonight is something that I think affects all of us as women and more or less, I think a lot in terms of for mums as well, when we try to juggle so much, and our mental health can really suffer. I see in clinic yeah, most of the time it's for mums or with mums, but not necessarily. Sometimes just busy women as we tend to
Mm.
always be, and often coming into that perimenopause, menopause, things start to go a little bit haywire, but not necessarily. I mean, I also see people at 30 going through, burnouts as well. So I think whatever stage you are, we can't always blame it on hormones. That tends
Yeah.
to come up a lot. Oh, must be just hormones going crazy. And yes, while they do have quite a big role to play, um, in a lot of cases, it's not necessarily, the only thing um, that is going wrong or that is affecting us. So common things that I see is low mood, people lack of energy, and it could be physical energy, it could be mental energy. It's like their mental stamina is just going. Often people say, "Oh, my husband tells me I'm getting angry a little bit more often, and get ragey." So it's either like the poor mood, and you just feel like blah, and I'm just life is blah and low mood and um, what? I even had a client today saying she feels like a shell of her old self. She's there, but she's not there, and that is very sad to me. So, um, we are going to get her, buzzing again, and that is my aim for tonight is to really get people, give them a okay. What are some things? The common symptoms, as I said, anxiety that's going through the roof at the moment, and yeah, as I said, low mood, feeling ragey, um, fatigued, um, maybe forgetfulness, foggy brain. So those are the common things. Things that tend to bring these on. So come some of the, and I know we tend to say this over and over again, but it's really important to understand the triggers. And everybody can be a little bit different. That's when I love to work with one-on-one people because, you know, uh, people's situations are quite different. And
Absolutely.
yes, coming back to, your hormonal health, and when you've got, especially coming to like, perimenopause, menopause, you've got those dips in your estrogen and your progesterone. And even if you're not going through um like perimenopause, but you're not ovulating probably, it's like I see a lot of even mid 30s who are kind of go, 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 higher stress levels. I'll talk about stress, and they're not ovulating properly. And so, interesting enough, that then you don't have that lovely rise in progesterone that helps with. keeping you calm and happy. And, and you'll tend to know that the people who don't, just because you get a period doesn't mean that you've actually ovulated either. So when you find like, oh man, I've had the worst cramps, breast tenderness, those PMS symptoms, those can be classic signs of non-ovulation, and you're just not making enough progesterone. Or sometimes, when it comes to stress, your adrenal glands also produce progesterone. So you've got to look at your stress as such a crucial part of your mental health. Is like, am I producing more cortisol, or am I going to be producing, progesterone in the right quantities to help me, keep me calm and happy? And I mean, we talked about gut health last week. I was going to say yesterday, last night, last week, and
Probably
how
most
important
days.
it was, with serotonin levels to make sure our gut health is on track, which does have a big influence to play on our mental health. Because as we mentioned yesterday, if I say yesterday, last week,
We
um,
we talk about it all the time though, so yeah, probably yesterday too.
well, that's true. I mean, how good do you feel mentally when you're with bloating and distension, where you're going around constipated, right? Terrible for your mental health too. So there's quite a lot of facets, and that's where sometimes people go, oh, well, I tried ashwagandha and I tried some magnesium, and it didn't quite work. And often it's a very holistic sort of circle of different facets that we need to kind of piece together. And while I don't want to make it seem like that's overwhelming and now I've got to do this, now I've got to do that, it's taking away from tonight little things that you can start with. So if you might go, okay, well, I'll watch the gut one and we'll look at how, if I get my gut sorted, and focus on that, then it'll help me with, it might help me with how I, like, confidence wise, how I'm feeling about myself. Um, it may be, sort of looking at your stress levels and go, right, that's going to be my main thing. I know I am an A-type personality and I'm just go, go, go. I don't take a lot of time to smell the roses, take my deep breaths. So I'll come to kind of some strategies soon. I'm just going through a few things. So stress, adrenal glands, cortisol, not making your progesterone. We mentioned sleep, and that's a big one. Do you know what? And Nikki, you would know this, you're kind of still in that situation now. But when you are waking up numerous times, and whether it's from a child or it's from
A
just
cat.
struggling to get to sleep. I see a lot of people, that wired but tired kind of mind. It's a struggle to get sleep. Or, you get to sleep because you're exhausted, and, 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up feeling alert and you just cannot get back to sleep. So watch the first video in terms of getting your sleep sorted. That is crucial. I think with anything, and in our sleep one, we said that sleep is the epicenter. So sleep would be one of my starting points for mental health.
Definitely.
How diet affects that can also be crucial. So from a nutrition point of view, uh, anxiety, foggy brain, low mood, fatigue,
Mhm.
a lot of these can stem from nutritional deficiencies.
Huge.
And I see that really often with things like iron and
Mhm.
B12. Sometimes magnesium. Do you know what? 1 in 3 Australian and New Zealanders do not meet the magnesium requirements for like our daily recommended intakes. And that is huge. Like, you think about magnesium is so important. Well, it has over 300 roles in the body, but it's so important for
Yeah.
your stress response and your central nervous system and how you respond to stress. So if you are deficient in magnesium, and while it's hard to do like a blood test like we can for iron, um, you will know, and I'll put this in the guide of sort of what foods have magnesium in them. And often I would see people not meeting those requirements. And that comes down to my second point. So first point, nutritional deficiencies.
Mm.
So I would absolutely, and I see this in clinics so often, is people say, "Oh, the doctor said I was fine. I had my blood test, maybe a few months ago, 6 months, sometimes even a year ago, and never heard anything back. So I assume I'm fine." Then we get a retest done, or I look at the bloods. I'm like, "You are, not the bottom of the cliff, but you're hanging close."
Mm.
And just because you're not deficient doesn't mean that you're living your best life.
Yeah.
Think about, if you don't have enough iron, you're not carrying enough oxygen around the bottom, around the bottom, around your body. And that's, of course, that's going to make you feel tired and foggy brain and poor mood. I mean, geez. And same with
Yeah.
B12, it's a real common one that doctors don't tend to test for when it comes to energy levels. And, B12 is so important for our cognitive performance, not only to help with, break down our carbohydrate, proteins, and fats to help with energy too. Um, but just from a cognitive performance. So we do want to make sure that when you get the range, I'm not going to tell you the range because it's going to go in one ear and out the other, but um, you want to make sure that you're like three-quarters of the way up. And, sometimes a supplement can be really helpful just to get you up faster, and other times you can just manage it with food and diet. So, nutritional deficiencies, eating sporadically, that's another interesting one that I see. And sometimes that goes with blood sugar levels from anxiety to like, oh, I'm trying to also lose weight, so I'm not gonna eat, and then I overeat, and
Mhm.
or it's like I'll have breakfast and then get so busy, school pickup, da da da, or just work, 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 and then it's come home and attack the overeat in at dinner time, maybe. So, yeah, sporadic eating is another one that your body does not like. It doesn't like your blood sugar levels going up and down. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be processed foods. I see a lot of people who go, they eat actually pretty clean, but they eat all over the show. And it's sometimes breakfast, sometimes not. Sometimes, it's just coffee for breakfast. And so, you're kind of overstimulating the adrenal glands in the morning time when your stress level's actually at the highest. So yeah, that would be another one would be, so we've got nutritional deficiencies, the eating sporadically, and yeah, sort of your blood sugar level um imbalances that can really have an effect on yeah, how you're feeling.
Mm. I think
The
it's really important too, Kate, to be like an advocate for your own health, right? Like to look at your blood tests and look at the norms and think, well, if I'm at the bottom or if I'm at the top, there might be something wrong. So I think it's really important to be your own advocate for your health. Because doctors don't
absolute
care about it.
Yeah,
Mm.
totally. That's a good point. I always say, don't, doctors are fantastic. I'm not going to beg, but they
They
are
are.
busy. And so I generally always say, either send them to me or get a copy so you can actually have a look too, because there are things that slip through the system.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, if that's just the way our sort of medical system works a little bit, it's just we'll fix it when you're dire kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and oh, do you know what? Or sometimes a simple one when I ask people, they're like, "Oh, I'm feeling just angry and again, low energy, foggy brain." Okay, so foggy brain is probably a big one. And sometimes it's from sleep,
Mhm.
sometimes it's just from dehydration. When I ask them, how much water do
100%.
you drink during the day? Oh, well, I have maybe two coffees, maybe a cup of tea, and maybe a couple of glasses of water. So your body's almost like starving for fluid. So you
Yeah,
do get shitty. And I've certainly experienced that before. Like I'm like, oh, I just haven't drunk any water for the last 4 hours. It's amazing how hydration, if our brain is 74% water, and we run on electricity, you
Mm.
want, that hydration to keep all your neurons working and flowing well. So
Absolutely. winter's a little bit harder too, isn't it? So I think people just need to find better ways to do it. And I'm sure you'll have some tips as well. Mm.
Yes,
Like herbal
yeah. So
teas.
I'll just sort of jump into those, tips now. So sort of the strategies that I would do. And with I think with the hormones, well, I do have some really good, there's a product called, like, if you're finding your progesterone levels, like maybe you get a lot of PMS kind of symptoms, then I would like really look at your stress levels and just see. There are some great herbs out there as well, like Vitex Angus, Chase Tree, that help kind of activate. It doesn't give you more progesterone, it kind of activates it and can really help with those levels and those symptoms. So
Mhm.
when it comes to like your estrogen, there is a fantastic product called Estrovina. Not that I want to go into too much products, but there are products out there that can really help. Just like, with stress, I always find, the common things like breathing. So
Mm.
often we just don't come back to the basics. So I would first and foremost is like, what are some basic things that we can do? And, Nikki, I'm dying to hear about what you would suggest for somebody who's in that kind of anxiety state and the, exercises or things that you would, say. So,
Mm.
um, from from my point of view, yeah, they're, from keeping your blood sugar levels nice and stable. So I know we've probably heard this so many times, but protein can be really helpful. Like looking at your balance of your meals consistently is not like 1 week on, off 1 week not. And yes, you're certainly going to have maybe those days where everything kind of goes pear-shaped and you end up eating out for one reason or another. But it's just little things like how many cups of coffee or like caffeine, even if I had somebody say, oh no, I don't drink any coffee. And well, how many cups of tea do you have? And she has about 6 cups of tea. So, that's 2 to 3 coffees a day when you
Mm.
add up all the caffeine. So
Mhm.
look at your caffeine intake, look at your water intake and make sure that you're hitting, depending on your exercise level, but you are trying to get that 8 glasses of water in a day, or making sure that at least your urine is clear, clear when you go to the loo. Um, maybe drinking a green tea instead of coffee because green tea's got L-theanine in it, which is really
Mm.
great for calm and focus.
Mm.
So I'm a big fan of green tea or matcha,
Mm.
just for the antioxidant boost and just the feeling of like you just get this like sense of focus and calm and memory help without the sort of caffeine overbuzz or the jitters that
Mm.
go with it. Yeah, balanced meals is crucial and having enough protein at each meal. And for people who are feeling like foggy brain, I know fasting's a big thing at the moment, and it can certainly be really helpful in certain situations. But somebody feeling like this, I would just recommend, again, one-on-one, but for general tips, I would say
Stereotype.
having
Yeah.
like 3 balanced meals at least a day
Mm.
would be optimal, and that would like quite a lot of protein. So really balancing out those blood sugar levels to help with optimal fuel and energy throughout the day. So, almost like 30 grams of protein, per meal, so that you're feeling balanced. Because once those blood sugar levels start going up and down, you feel very unbalanced, and it really changes your mood. So and again, it's just making sure, like looking at those blood tests and thinking, okay, if I are there any nutritional deficiencies and correcting that. So that is a huge strategy. Also, probably my high priority is getting a blood test. You can pop into Path Lab or most places, wherever you may be, and just you don't need a doctor's script. You can literally just pay your $15, get your test, and they'll send it straight to you. And that way you've
Oh,
got the data
good.
hand in hand. And then
Mm.
you might go, okay, well, that's great. I just need to, wherever I'm at, again, you can always get in touch with me and say, oh, do you think I need a supplement? How low? do you think, or I am, or can I just maintain this with food? But data can be really powerful to go, yeah, this is what I need to do. Actually,
Mm.
same with the hair test. Sometimes doing an hair like an food sensitivity test can be really enlightening for people too, because you might be going, "Oh, I'm feeling foggy brain." I mean, it doesn't necessarily turn out in sinuses. Some people get sinusy and hay fever like, and some people just get like this dull headache. That can all be connected to, how you're functioning, your mood, maybe there's a bit of inflammation happening. So it's quite a good idea, and I can put that in my sheet, a couple of places that I send off my clients to get tested. And it just sometimes it's intuition. You go, I thought that wasn't good for me.
Mm.
And then also you don't have to exclude foods that, you may think that you should. But it does, yeah, food sensitivities can be triggers for things like headaches and foggy brain. And especially if you've got gut issues as well, it could be issues for IBS, which is also causing you know, not feeling great about yourself.
Mm.
Um, and like there is, yeah, I was gonna say like in terms of like stress, like obviously you're gonna talk about the exercise, and I think that's massive, and sleep, that's also crucial. There are some supplements. I'll put that into my little thing too, like magnesium. We just don't get enough magnesium. So that is one supplement I would suggest. And then there's other things like ashwagandha, and so if you need some extra support, like you're trying to like minimize your stress, sometimes there are situations where a good quality supplement can actually be gold, to helping just like elevate you and until you're in a good space.
Yeah, totally.
Does it was that
Mm.
helpful? There was that sort of
No,
answer a few
absolutely.
questions.
It's really hard. It's like it's all intertwined. Like you need a whole multidisciplinary team to deal with, I think, mental health issues, whether it's like mild depression or anxiety, or if it's full-blown depression where you're medicated. I think it's everything. It's all encompassing, and you have to address every part of it, really. I think you can't go in full hog with one thing and expect miraculous outcomes if you're still doing other things poorly or not as well as we should. So I think it is definitely, yeah, little tips which are awesome because they're doable. And I think that's really important. And especially on your sheet, if you could give us more information on things like magnesium and how to get enough, or how do we know if we're getting enough, like that would be super, super helpful. So
Yeah,
that's amazing. Thank
absolutely.
you.
Because people always just
Mm.
think of, oh, I'm not getting cramps, so I might not be deficient in magnesium, but there's so
Mm.
much more. And,
Yes.
magnesium is crucial for making some of our neurotransmitters. So if we don't have enough magnesium, then, making the serotonin, although it's made in the gut, you still need all those lovely locks and keys to help produce that. So
Mm.
yeah, I'll send that out, and then yeah, people can have a nice a little uh deep down dive into some of those strategies and what might work for them. Maybe it's one or two things that they need to just, start with, or
Mm.
correct. And sometimes, it might be like, okay, I need, to do quite a few. But Nikki, what would you say, if you had somebody walking in who's yeah, feeling stressed, anxious.
Mm.
Um, what are some
All
exercises
of the
you
above.
would promote to
Mm.
some of our probably women watchers at the moment?
Totally. It's so, I would say firstly, like it's so incredibly common. So I would say we live in a population, Adrian and I, that is mostly over 65. It's like most of my patients over that age bracket are on antidepressants. And it's quite
Really?
severe. Yeah. And so we have quite deep talks, men as well, but it does, like there's things obviously from my perspective, I would always talk about exercise. So I've got a bit of research that I will talk about, but basically, like exercise prescription in a lot of countries comes first or foremost over medication or in conjunction with medication. So I think we're a little bit behind the eight ball in New Zealand and possibly Australia. I'm not sure where they're at, but there's so much evidence to say that exercise, this one in particular from the British Journal of Sports Medicine, found that physical exercise is 1.5 times more effective than medication or therapy alone in targeting kind of mild to moderate depression. So a lot of people would go through those mild depression stages at some phase in their life. And I think it's just so important because exercise, it can be free. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's got to be fun. All of the stuff we can do. So different types of movement will affect your mental health in slightly different ways. And it all comes down to, I guess, the hormones in your body. But consistency and enjoyment are key. You have to do something that is fun for you because otherwise you're not going to enjoy it. And a lot of people aren't going to commit to it. So the best movement that we found for mental health in women, we're talking about walking in nature. So as simple as being outside, being barefoot, if you like. It reduces cortisol. So we know that's the stress hormone in our bodies. It improves your mood, it lowers anxiety. So just being in nature. And that for me is huge. I know that if I go bushwalking, it's the weirdest thing, but I come home and my skin is glowing. It's like just
I
something about the
agree.
oxygen. Yeah, it's awesome, mate. And especially barefoot. Huge, huge advocate of that. Then we look at dance, just dancing, just dance, dance. It
Good.
improves emotional expression, body confidence, and joy. I mean, Willow and I do it all the time, and it's hilarious. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in my house, but it's so much fun.
I agree. I
Yoga,
do
of
that with
course.
Leo, and it's
Yeah, it's great,
joyful. I
eh?
think that's a good word, joyful.
Joy, yeah, absolutely. So yoga, of course, reduces symptoms of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, supports nervous system regulation. Again, it probably comes down a lot to the breathing aspects. We've got strength training, of course, which is vital for women over or pre-menopause, post-menopause. It's vital regardless. Improving mood, self-image, confidence. Like these are things that are really pretty straightforward, right? Low impact cardio. We do need impact as well, but low impact cardio is shown to increase serotonin, so your feel good hormones, decrease symptoms of stress, of course, and burnout. And Tai Chi or Qigong, so any kind of movement that calms the mind, increases emotional resilience, which is quite, I mean, there's a research base. It's pretty cool. So
Mm.
why? Like, why does it help? It basically affects your nervous system. So we've got a serotonin boost, we've got a dopamine boost in your brain. So we've got endorphins released into your body that make you feel good. We've got other proteins that are vital for growth and development of the brain and the spinal cord. And of course, all of that stuff is linked to improving your mood. And it's so simple. It improves your sleep, of course, as we know, and energy. So I saw a very good post yesterday that talked about if you are low in energy, probably what you need to do is not rest. You need to go and create more energy. And that's how your body reacts, which is fantastic. It creates a sense of agency. So moving your body reconnects you to your choice, control, self-trust, really basic things, body awareness, emotional release. All of those movements help to increase basically everything in your body, everything feel good. And basically, what we want to do is start small. So if you aren't moving your body, a really, really simple way is to do 10 to 15 minutes a day of something. So Kate and I are big fans of snacking type exercises. So if you could start off with 10 to 15 minutes once a day, and then you might do that 3 or 4 times a day. It could be anything. Going for walks, short walks, using the stairs at work or at home. Really, really basic things. Of course, you want to pick joy over potentially at the start over intensity. If you're just starting out, you want to choose things that feel nourishing for your body, that you love, not punishing. You don't want to punish yourself. You just want to start slow. Music, add music. We know that it boosts motivation. It's just so good to dance. So if you put on your favorite song, you just, can rage away. And using a buddy system, which is always pretty cool. So becoming accountable to somebody else is quite good, and it improves your connection as well, especially if they're other women or like-minded women going through the same phases in their life. There's a little bit it talked about it says cycle with your cycle. So syncing movement with your menstrual phases, but that's like another different level because I think there's a lot of research out now to say that if you're pre-period, I suppose you could do really heavy training, but again, that's quite specific for athletes. So to be honest, at the end of the day, you just need to move your body and you need to do it daily and you need to enjoy it. So you have to pick something you like, whether it's running around after a toddler or doing whatever.
That's so true. It's like we lose that when
Mm,
we grow up, and you know, I think
yeah,
that should be first and foremost. We've seen the research time and time again with
yeah,
moving. I mean, even
yeah.
like now I've just
I,
been sitting, I'm in presentation back to back, and all I want to do, instead of like sit down more and watch TV, which I don't know how people do, I'm like, I need
mm,
to move my body. But I think
yeah,
it comes to attuning, being attuned to that.
yes.
And what would you say to people who would tell you, oh, like I don't have time to exercise?
Oh man, I tell you what, I think I used to be that person that would be like, you have so much time, get up 5 minutes earlier. I probably am that still that person because I think if you are committing to your health and your wellness, getting up 5 minutes earlier is going to be the best thing in the world for you. So maybe not pushing that snooze alarm or just getting out of bed and doing something. Or if it's your lunch break, or if it's straight after work, you have to not question what you're doing. I
Mm.
think don't second guess yourself. So don't say, oh, it would be much nicer if I lay in bed for 5 more minutes. Just don't do that. Push the alarm, get up and get moving. Or it could be at lunchtime. But like I say, just don't question yourself. Don't doubt what you're
So
doing.
true. I mean, I think
Mm,
we've all done that. Oh, I could go for a walk, or like I could clean the house, or I could
mm,
do this, or I could do that. It's so funny how we put like actual menial tasks in front
yeah,
of that, our actual health and well-being. I mean, I see that from, yeah, a lot of my clients. Oh, but I just had to tidy the house. I didn't have time to tidy the house and go. And I'm like, mate, leave the house, leave the washing, or dance and do the washing at the
yeah.
same time.
Yes, dance.
Um, yeah, you should see me in between clients. God, arms pumping. But as you know what, I set my alarm to have music. So when my alarm goes off, it's my favorite song. It's
Oh,
not,
good.
that dun, 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 dun. It's like something I really enjoy. And then I'm like, oh, rave time. If I'm getting up early for to have to do something. So yeah, you're
Yeah,
so right. Don't I, and
mm,
I think the Nike slogan is so good. Like, just do
yeah,
it, and that's what I actually tell myself, because even like the best of us will sometimes second guess ourselves, but I'm just like,
100%.
just do it. Don't second.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
that's so true. I think certainly as a busy mum and being a single mum for me, I'm not going to lie, and Adrian and I probably talked about this too. It's like sometimes time is hard when you like I would love to go to the gym 5 days a week, but I actually physiologically can't get there on my own.
mm,
But you just got to find other ways. And often it's play, and play is so vital. And we stop play as adults. And I think it's so important to get into play. For
mm.
me, it's easy because I have to chase this little one now who can ride a bike. So I'm running, sprinting down the road at intervals, like making sure I can stop her if she needs to be stopped. So yeah, you just have to find ways to make it work. Mm,
Absolutely. And that goes same with like your meal prep as well,
yeah.
and just making sure that we are getting nutritious meals into us that are helping, those micronutrients. I didn't actually print, I feel like I've got the research in my head, so I didn't print anything out, but that is what they say time and time again is, how you move your body, what you put into your body is crucial, right?
Mm,
So, and also how you sleep. I think from a mental health, look, you can't always help that when you've got kids, but putting a
mm,
real big emphasis on your sleep has
yeah.
been, yeah, a bit of an eye opener. I think when you become a mum, you'll take your sleep a lot more serious. But when you actually start to lose your sleep, and things start to go wrong with your sleep, that's when you go, oh wow, I've taken it for granted.
Really
Um,
huge.
but anyway,
Mm.
yeah, we'll wrap it up there. And Adrian, did you have any quick question or anything?
No, but I would like the links for the past two sessions that I've missed, please.
Yes, sure, sure. If you've got, I've just sent Nikki the link. And then, or what's your I think, Adrian, I've got your email address. I'll just send you the link with your email.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
You're
Awesome. Thanks for
welcome.
joining us.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Awesome,
Yeah.
guys. Well, yeah, have a lovely
Thank
evening
you.
and maybe go move your body, go dance around. We've been sitting for half an hour.
Exactly. Awesome, mate.
See
Thanks
ya.
so much, Kate. Thanks,
Bye.
Thank
everyone.
you.
See ya.
Okay.